Hey guys, I hope you had a great Easter weekend. This is another Battleblood commentary. I haven't uploaded any videos over the weekend because I've been spending some time for myself and with some friends and with my PvP team, of course. So sorry that we didn't have any Saturday or Sunday videos, but here we are back again in another week, Monday, and we're still trying to get all these videos out in chronological order. So this is from March 26th. We're up against a new friend of ours. Actually, we became friends after this match. In fact, with Michelle Spritecaller there, and you'll see why basically at the end. Um, but anyways, these three that we're up against right now are from Central, and let's see. So what we've got here is basically a ice life myth versus storm life ice on our side. So we're dealing with a stun shield removal kind of team, and going second, that's never really good. Uh, I was always thinking about, I was really vigilant in terms of expecting the a chain stun to happen at some point, just because they do have a myth player. But this is a disadvantageous positioning for their team because the myth player is at the end, so he has to remove shields off of us, and hopefully we would play too offensively to worry about shields and allow the ice player to knock us down with whatever he has. And this is still the period where we're getting a little bit more comfortable in terms of countering blade stacking teams. And so with one ice on their team, though, we weren't expecting too much of that to happen. We're expecting, well, the myth player is definitely going to strike us, our shields down and whatnot. And since we're going second, it's going to be really, really tough on us, especially when we can't just stack shields on just one player, because he could use one card, take those all down. We'll have to reshuffle faster. So we have to be very balanced in terms of defense and offense here. So So Tyler was making prediction. Oh, you know what? Fallon has 7 pips. She's gonna Stormlord us. No, not necessarily. Again, you never know when a dispel can come out, and because they do have an ice in front, I was expecting a melt at any time on top of me or from any of his allies. So I'm gonna play low rank cards here until I know we can pin them down in a way to prevent them from dispelling us. Because if I did play a Frost Giant at that point, which would have helped, it would have stopped at least the middle, it would have stopped the life player and the myth player. As you can see, they don't have any stun protection. Um, if a melt did go on top of me, I would have lost my pips and be down, temporarily down and out for the count against a fully pipped team. So going second, you always have to worry about pip conservation. You don't want to throw everything out because you're never sure about what will happen. So anyways, we're expecting, oh, a melt may go on for me, but we know that a chase Iceblade there can't hit us yet with that melt on top. So any of his other two allies could melt me by any chance. So we had Fallon go ahead and remove his blade, because if he had to use an ice card to remove the melt, then his blade will be open still, and we were expecting Fallon to go ahead and disarm. So this is around the period when we started changing up our decks seriously. It wasn't just a theory that we had acted on. As you can see, I actually pulled up a Steel Charm card. So we knew, okay, this is to beat blade stackers, you need a way to attack their blades as if they were shields in a way too. So she went ahead and disarmed him, so we know we're not going to get hit by a huge ice attack, assuming he did get rid of the melt. But since he didn't get rid of that melt, he is down for about 2 turns in terms of a bladed ice attack. And meanwhile, so Cass did go ahead and cleanse me in case any of those guys did place a melt on top of me. So I was able to get Frost Giant out without any worry. And we know, okay, well, he's melted. He can't shield anyone. And his two allies are stunned. So, you know what? Assuming he doesn't play a life dispel on Cass, we're going to go ahead and get an early rebirth. I also have my empowerment up at this point, so calling for the area heal right there, going to give me an extra pip to use. Fallon's going to play well, I don't want to say infamous, but her signature move, basically the Storm Elf. Again, it's not played on the life player, not necessarily because she doesn't have any shields, but because he is the last player. Any shields that go on top of him from any ally in front of him will be knocked off. So, anyways, that rebirth gave me a free smokescreen play, and we can ensure that they're not going to play well. It'll be a lower chance of them playing a Storm Dispel on top of Fallon, and hopefully no Storm Shields will be used in this case. So that's another reason for smokescreen there, making sure, hey, if they want to try to blade or shield up heavily, it's not going to happen too easily. So anyways, the smokescreen kind of made them play a lot more defensively, I think. And so they actually got all of their cards through, but no matter, it made them play really defensive. And we're going to go ahead and just get the Stormlord out here. And it's going to do full damage to Tyler, so he doesn't have that much storm resist. And as you can see, that elf was basically a major setup for him. And because he did not put a shield on himself for another storm, he did not play another storm shield for himself. That kind of, I mean, that's the reason why he's down to 900 out of 2500 health. So meanwhile, looking at Chase, knowing he has full pips right now, I think Cass, if she didn't have a stun shield from earlier, yeah, she has a stun shield, so we're not going to get stunned at this point. But I don't want him hitting us or having the myth basically remove our stun shields and surprise us. Meanwhile, but as you can see, actually the myth doesn't have enough pips to do a shield removal. Maybe one stun from him and Chase with the Frost Giant may have stunned Cass right there, but that's okay. They're not. I think they're going to wait until the myth has enough pips. So I'm going to go ahead and play that melt as you saw, because assuming that the myth will earthquake and whatnot, we don't want that ice being able to blade up. We don't want him shielding his allies any further, so went ahead and played that. And Fallon's going to build up pips, playing that rank 0 card. And I know it's a big explanation, just explaining one card played at a time. Thankfully, sprightly animations allow me for time to explain what's going on. So anyways, looking at the myth's pips, we're assuming, okay, he may take out our stun shields now and allow for Chase to basically hit us with the Frost Giant next. So what I did this turn was play a Steel Ward. And here we go. We are going to lose stun shields. I don't want to be surprised, so that's why I use my Steel Ward. Now, the thing about Steel Ward and absorbs is it only works on the spirit armor. Your Steel Wards will not steal a rebirthed armor. So I was hoping, okay, I hope that they aren't going to give Michelle Spritecaller any shields whatsoever, because I want one of her stun shields. So we knew, again, calling out basically, well, that myth is going to get rid of the shield. So Fallon, you need to play a defensive card, and I played a offensive defensive play, if that makes any sense. I played a Steel Ward in hopes of making sure I don't get surprised. And you know what? Here is an epic play right here. Fallon playing a cleanse, knowing that, well, we got hurt. Chase is not going to be able to hit, but if that life player, if Michelle does hit, she is bladed. Okay, she will do mass damage, but we're expecting a dispel of some sort. So instead, Fallon's going to go ahead and cleanse. Try to cleanse Cass, but no, not allowing us. So that stun shield saved me there. I'm going to be able to play some card. I'm not sure how useful it'll be. Oh, I'm trying to build up pips even further. So this is, again, pre-amulet. It's a pre-amulet time period. This is back in March, late March. So meanwhile, we're going to try for that heal once again. Chase can hit. Michelle can hit. Now, if they both hit, and assuming Tyler doesn't carry a life dispels, then we'll be okay. So we're expecting, well, the live player may not throw out her pips. Fallon does have an abundant amount of pips. I have enough pips for a combo of some sort. So I think she went ahead and played pretty defensively. So as you can see, they're not going for stuns this time. Uh, Quite interestingly enough, I mean, he could have stopped me from doing whatever I was about to do, but I guess they weren't counting on me doing something, or maybe they were, because Michelle did not throw out an attack. So assuming me would hit, she went ahead and dispelled Cass. But as you can see, Fallon or PC Perfect Catch is basically ready for that. And this is in the this is when we're trying to deal with blade stackers and whatnot, but at the same time also learning how to play from second very defensively. And I knew, okay, well, convictions are down or so, at least for first player, so I need to stop him from doing a combo of some sort. So went ahead and attacked and going to stun the first player, so he cannot support his teammates. 2 players versus 3 moving players, that's all I can ask for. So yeah, so basically Cass got life dispelled, but as you can see, or as you saw, Fallon did remove that with a cleanse. So, you know, Storm players, try to support your life players a lot more. Don't always assume that you always have to be a hitter. You can be the shielder. You don't always have to have blades up. Remember that. Yes, quick kills are fun and easy and fast, but it's not very practical, especially if your enemies may have a potential of playing a spell on top of you. You don't want to throw out all your pips like that. You do want to hold on to your pips to look intimidating, and also if you are going to save on your hold on to your pips. Make sure that you have a good defense. If you're an all-attack team, at least ensure at least one recovery player exists, because once you're taken down, you cannot do any damage. So, but that's another concept to be explained later. That goes into like the quad storm teams that we'll be facing. So anyways, more defensive play here. Cass is going to try to build up her pips for a rebirth again, and I fizzled on something. I'm not sure what had happened. Looked like a death spell. Maybe I was mantled or so. But anyways, Blade's coming up on Chase there. Spritecaller gonna go ahead and she's the lowest life player at this point, but she does have a Sprightly. She's gonna try to amp up her regeneration, and Tyler's gonna add some defense on her. They do have a stun shield on her, so she's ready for any surprises actually. 1 stun shield left. So she was taking most of the hits from us, I think, from between the Storm Lord and Frost Giant. Was there? Yes, there was a Storm Lord and a Steel Ward. So she's down to 1 stun shield. So we know she's ready for the elemental surprise of any sort. Should any of my teammates carry an Earthquake and support a Frost Giant. But I don't think we're going to do it this round, actually. No one has enough for an Earthquake. Finding out what our options are. They are smoked. So Fallon's going to go ahead and add even more pressure. Ooh, another blade. This is going to hurt if he uses a Gargantuan. If an Ice Bubble does pop up from one of the allies. And Michelle is going to go ahead and shield up her lowest life player. So really advanced play, as you can see here. The basic general idea is always put your shield on the life player, right? But when you start getting into commander level play or warlord level play, you want to consider that you have to treat your team as an entire body and protect your weak points as well. It's not always making sure that your heart's fine, but you want to make sure all the blood vessels leading to your heart are okay. So meanwhile, he is ramped up on blades, and they do have stun shields up. So even more, so we're expecting, okay, someone's going to cleanse this guy, or he's just going to blade up further and further. He did have treasure. Here we go, a cleanse from the life player. So again, more supportive play. We know that their style is somewhat similar to ours, minus the blades. So As you saw, or maybe if you didn't see, I did play an Earthquake at that point. Wanted to get rid of those blades that he already had up with that melt, and also just rip them down, assuming that he does play an ice card to get rid of the melt. But he didn't have to do that. He played even more blades. As you can see, it was treasure triple blades. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get rid of that. And I do not fizzle. Yay. So he is gonna lose all of those blades that he put up. So once again, saving. I mean, I'm throwing out a lot of pits, but I am saving my team from a huge snow angel of any sort or a frost giant, perhaps. And so there I go. I mean, Tyler, Titanblood getting a little, uh, I don't know if I want to say jealous or so. He is the myth player, but he hasn't had a lot of great Earthquake plays. So anyways, they're down on shields. Um, Tyler's the only one who cannot get stunned, assuming the other two do not play a conviction or stun defense. And it looks like they're gonna go ahead and just risk the stun defense. Um, so here comes the Medusa to try to. I'm not sure why he played it on Cassandra. It should have been played on me because I don't have any stun shields. Stopping me twice would have been a lot more useful. So anyways, I don't know what he was doing with his pips, but mine though certainly wasn't a waste trying to get rid of these stun shields. And we're going to stop the two players in front of him, and we do get a stun through the conviction here. So little luck on our part there, but also we just didn't want the first two players moving whatsoever. We weren't expecting the third to also get stunned. So I did play an Empower at this point because having thrown out all my pips, I need a way to recover from that loss. So go ahead when empowered, use my resist and high health as an advantage. I mean, sacrificing health is no problem for an ice. Building pips though, we really want that. Meanwhile, we know we're not going to get life dispelled. So Cassandra's able to play some card. We want to knock out that myth player, not only to get rid of his stun shields, but get rid of him as well. We do not, most of Warlord play styles is basically go for myth players. I mean, myth players are more dangerous than life players because life players can't get rid of your stun shields, and therefore myth players can be a surprise factor. When they do rip down your stun shields, you're open to just you're open to the other team being able to play twice in a row without, I mean, without you expecting it almost. And getting hit by or playing against 6 consecutive cards is without being able to do anything yourself in between. It is really tough. So anyways, we are going to go ahead and try to get some added protection. We know that the ice player is not going to hit, and I'm going to try to slam as much as I can a blade right here with the no, I'm not a gargantuan blizzard, is it? No, I think it is. I think it is. Unless Tyler just has absolutely no resist at all, then then that was it. So anyways, we did get rid of him. He is down off pips. He's not going to be able to stun me with a choke or so. We don't want that happening. So I'm going to go ahead and play the conviction right here. Meanwhile, Chase here having to play a snow angel. So luckily it wasn't heavily bladed or anything, and it looks like he was just using his pips. So he must, yeah. If you have a full rack of pips, try to use as many cards as possible. So he was doing somewhat of conventional play, but I think he would have benefited more if he played some lower rank card. But I guess they were trying to get rid of any potential ice shields. It's as if it's Fallon playing a DOT to remove any shields placed in advance. So anyways, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. That tower shield gets taken out right away, but at least it protects Cass's absorb a little bit more. 60% resist, not bad. Meanwhile, we're going to make sure that that life cannot, I mean, they are going to have to heal that myth player at that point. So Cass went ahead and made sure that they can't do the same to us this round, assuming that Chase throws out some heavy hits. So Tyler right here, not a complete threat yet. He can't play a choke just yet. And he's low on health. We know that she won't be able to heal him right away. He's going to feel somewhat insecure, and he's going to try to build up his pips slowly by playing a rank 0 card. It kind of offensive too. Meanwhile, we're just going to make sure she cannot bring him up that quickly. But you know what? Oh yeah, I was going to mention if Chase did have a cleanse, he could get rid of that for her, and she could heal her team or teammate much more efficiently. But you know what? Cass did play that smoke screen to go ahead and block that infection from being cleansed right away. So good team play once again. So we know that Tyler's not going to get health too soon. He's going to have he's going to have a very small chance of stunning me with choke, with that conviction still up. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that infection for Cass. Cass is going to go ahead and play a little bit more defensively. Going to go ahead and put that shield on herself. But no, here comes the entangle. So and the really nice play from the other side, somewhat mimicking what we've done, and it's basically placed that infection over the life dispel. So if Sprightly does not get rid of it, or at least get rid of the life dispel, then Fallon will have to double cleanse Cass, or Cass will have to cleanse herself as well. Meanwhile, I am gonna I end up cleansing one of the last place infections, so that life dispel is now vulnerable. We're expecting them. Okay, well, Cass, we're going second. We need to be able to play some cards. I'm looking for defensive right here. They do have 2 Iceblades so far in Chase. Michelle does have the potential to hit. Tyler does have potential to frog, and they do throw a frost giant out. So heavy damage. They've probably learned, and they saw my pips, noticing, well, I have a bunch of pips on me. They're expecting me to actually earthquake at this point, but I don't think I did. I wanted to hold on to pips to make sure I could heal, knowing that, hey, Cass is going to be the target of infections and life dispels. So let's go ahead and try to be a surprise factor here. So Michelle here is going to hit, and it's going to hurt. So she did throw out her pits, but it's no concern to her at this point. Because we're at a major disadvantage on health, and seemingly a heal factor as well. So Cass being debuffed at a major point right here. And quite honestly, I'll be frank right here, I don't really like Tyler Titanblood. He was kind of questioning why Michelle did that. I think it was a smart play. I think if Tyler had actually hit at that point instead of Blade, he could have knocked out our Storm player as well. So meanwhile, I wanted to make sure, hey, Cass has got to be okay. We got to make sure she cannot be taken out too quickly. And you know what? They only have enough for a Blizzard to knock out Fallon. They need to do that because she does have a lot of pips, and I think Tyler will go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, I'm assuming they're going to play life dispels on top of Cass. But if they do not, I mean, yeah, assuming they do, they're going to try to maybe knock out Cass with a single hit too. Maybe an Orthros to be played by Tyler at this point. So, not knowing if they will take out both Fallon and Cass, we both play to heal. It's okay if she loses pips. And yeah, there we go. The single hit, trying to aim straight for the life player. So, Fallon wasn't even touched at this point. But Cass may have potential to go down. No, she doesn't. So, I'm not sure. Yeah, again, not a fan of Tyler at this point, and I don't think his teammates are either. Not only did he make a screw up on a play, a critical, so it offsets that infection. So, anyways, back to what Tyler was doing. Not sure why he didn't hit earlier with a frog of some sort, knock out Fallon, but we were expecting Fallon to just go out at that point. She didn't, so lucky break for us. She gets to keep her pips, and we get 2 absorbs. They're both stacked, being different cards. Cass with a regular rebirth, mine with a crafted rebirth. So they are different spells. They are going to stack. We do have extra. We basically added extra hit points to everyone's capacity. So I think that was a blizzard attempt at some sort. We were expecting, hey, the storm dispel is going to come out at some point. They already have life excuse me. They already have life dispels and ice dispels. So let's play a low rank card. You've got the pips. Let's take out any potential shielding on their life player now. So we're switching targets, knowing that, hey, this, well, to be honest, the myth player is still dangerous just because of his abilities. But, you know, it's sad to say this because I really don't like um, to just call someone out, but we're not we're not too worried about his competency at this point. After having seen you know, a couple of well, not confusing, but questionable plays. So meanwhile, we're going to play very high on defense. Chase has 6 pips at this point. He can AoE. He can throw a Frost Giant next round. So I'm going to go ahead and melt him once again, making sure he cannot hit us as hard. And here we go. So as you can see, they added a small buffer, or at least they've learned a little bit. Tyler is going to go ahead and be the supportive player and add the shield after the Storm Elf. So, but that's, I mean, that's the danger of the Storm Elf as well. Though small and tiny, it is going to keep their shields off, and we're not going to hit just yet. But you know what? Hey, we got this Dark Wind up. They're not going to be able to replace that bubble unless the Myth puts one up, and shield's going to be taken out. So we're assuming that the life player has to shield herself, or Tyler will have to shield, or they'll all get stunned. So there are a bunch of possibilities, and you know, the video sped up. So basically, we had them in a corner, even though it didn't seem like it. They could have played Dispels on us, sure, but that wouldn't have been efficient, especially when I have the pips as well. So Tyler doing a nice job putting up the conviction, expecting to be stunned, especially with Fallon with that many pips. And we're going to stop a heal here. We're going to stop another ice attempt to hit us hard. You know, some people call it chain dispelling, but as you know, that's the only way you can really have some kind of advantage going second. They don't have to play into a dispel. They can get rid of it. But, you know, hey, we were doing a double dispel at this point to block 2 players to ensure, hey, if Chase wants to cleanse Michelle to allow herself to heal Tyler, that's alright. At least he won't be removing the melt. And then that saves our team from yet another bladed hit. So here we go. Fallon's going to throw in whatever she has. We're going to aim straight for the Myth player here. It's going to be a little surprise run. And basically take out his pips once again. We do not want him having earthquakes. Because again, we don't want that surprise factor with our stun shields going down. So that's the main reason why, you know, Myth players are, I mean, they're great in 1v1. I admit that. Like, for my death and most of my early life, my early ice PvP before Celestia came out, Myth players were basically very, very scary to play against. So as you can see, team combo here, making sure that, well, we got them in the corner. We're going to make sure they can't do too much. Chase he's able to hit us at this point, but we have double rebirth shields, and Michelle here is entangled. I mean, not entangled, infected. So if Chase does cleanse her, they'll be able to get a full-fledged rebirth out. Meanwhile, she is going to play a low heal here to conserve her pips, so she can play that full-fledged rebirth next round. But we're going to make sure that try to lower their chances of doing that. So here we go. Cass is going to build up hits. We need her to be able to be ready to heal in case of any surprise encounter. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same, because they are back up on their feet. They're going to be able to get the rebirth off next turn, but we do have a smoke screen here to ensure they do not dispel us at the same time. Man, there's a lot going on in this game, and I hope I've been able to cover as much as possible. Again, the Myth player, dangerous, had to take him out. So Fallon went ahead and threw out her pips like that, comboed with Cass's Forest Lord. Will take him out, making sure he cannot remove our stun shields. And Tyler's getting pretty angry, And we're trying to keep them at a at arm's length in a way. So anyways, I don't have any stun shields just yet, so they have not done any stuns, and I think it would have been wise for them to hit me at this point. And no, just more defenses, so she's going to try her best to get rid of whatever she can, and here we go, here is the stun. So Tyler doing a nice job preventing me from playing whatever card I have. I have a bunch of pips. Kat's gonna try what she can to hit, and I'm not able to play I'm not able to put yet another smoke screen to make sure they cannot heal too quickly in their favor and whatnot. So, anyways, we were seeing, hey, Tyler's conviction. He doesn't have any stun shields, and we should get ready. More blades, and here's gonna be a rebirth into the infect, but at least they just want the armor added onto Tyler. He's going to go ahead and protect their hitter, I suppose. I think he would have done a better job protecting himself, but now, here we go. Cass also does carry some Storm Elves, so not just Fallon, but Cass will be able to play as a shield breaker. As I mentioned before, the concept of the Myth player being more dangerous than the Life player is because, well, the Myth player can break the shields. But when a Life player is able to break shields, that makes them even more dangerous. So we applied that little concept there, and had basically asked Cass to go ahead and carry Storm Elves. And I mean, if she can build up her pips very quickly and defensively, playing a lot of rank 0 cards like Astro Magic, Star Magic specifically, or shields, then she has a lot of pips to use. And if she's not going to be able to do anything with them to support Fallon or I, then what's the use of holding on to all those pips? So the Life player being able to do something else from her end as well, and she's making sure Tyler cannot get storm shielded. That plague is going to give us some leeway. Meanwhile, Fallon's going to go ahead and blade up, look really intimidating. We are expecting, and Cass having to reshuffle. She does, yeah, this is a blooper part right here. Little miscommunication. Cass is running out of cards, and I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and reshuffle you. And I guess she didn't get the message early enough, so she reshuffled herself too. Which is weird, pretty awkward moment there. 2 reshuffles, and I'm not yeah, that was a really bad play on our part. That kind of cost us a lot of rounds. Could have held on to pips, or she could have held on to pips to make sure she could heal in case those guys plan to hit hard. Fallon's going to blade up even more, making sure she does not get Storm Dispelled herself. But you know what? That Myth is going to eventually play an Earthquake, get rid of all of those. But no, we're just going to strike at this point. I'm not sure what was being played and why we were so confident in doing what we're doing right now, but we're going to try to stun. So, I think we're actually trying to take out the Myth player, assuming they don't have any storms. So once again, we're able to keep our stun shields. Myth players down. We'll be okay. I mean, yeah, Myth players down. Yeah, be okay. I'm still thinking on about the double reshuffle right there. That was I think that's our biggest mistake ever in a game, and probably our only one in terms of like really, really bad miscommunication. It's been long forgotten, so I forgot it was even in this game that it happened. And now that we're getting to look back on it, well, I am a little speechless, obviously. But yeah, it's a major facepalm, and really, game could have just the flow of the game just basically changed from this point on. So, and we want to make sure she cannot heal. hopefully rebirth next round, but she is going to throw up a satyr, and the smoke screen will come out, so ensuring that Chase is not able to hit. But you know what? He has a bunch of pips. He has a bunch of blades. This is going to hurt. Maybe. Just maybe. So meanwhile, I'm going to look for Empower. I have an Earthquake in hand. I need to make sure. Hey, potentially, if he does hit us, I need to be ready to be able to be ready to heal. And it looks like he was going to play even more blades or maybe a weakness. But I'm thinking more blades at this point. He has a bunch of pips to spare. So, yeah, this is a blade stacking team, unfortunately. So, we're going to try to just basically mess around with him and make sure that Michelle is not able to heal her teammate too quickly. So, I think a double life spell, so it's going to slow her down a bit in terms of bringing him back. But you know what? Sprightly got to him. Dang it. So I'm going to empower, Cass is going to empower. We're both ready for anything at this point. Still not enough for an Earthquake, so no threat to Chase at this point, but he could be hitting hard. And you know what? Michelle cannot life dispel us, and Tyler can only frog us, so it might hurt. So let's see what we do here. I think Cass was searching around for some cards. Even more blades. Oy, oy, oy. So we're assuming he's going to do some kind of combo. Heavily bladed, but now it's also going to be a double hit that's heavily bladed. So meanwhile, going to go ahead and protect Cass as much as possible. Make sure she receives the least of the damage. Let's see. I figure, you know what, if they're going to just stack blades all over that, there's no sense in me using a steel charm. So you know what, I'm going to play the next best card. Fallon going to make sure, hey, that life player, let's not allow her to hit next turn, if anything. And so we are going to play some spells, making sure, yeah, here comes our shields. The blades are up just to trick him and force him to play that Earthquake early on, throw out his pips, and our stun shields are down. But you know what? We're going to make sure that life player cannot dispel Cass. We don't want that surprise factor in there. So anyway, stun shields do go down. That ice player has a lot of pips. And a lot of blades, not to mention. We're going to make sure, hey, you know what? Let's make sure Cass is safe, so bam. And oh, okay, so she did have enough pips to Earthquake. I am missing something here. Anyways, I guess at that point we were expecting the ice player to hit. But nope, throwing out all his treasures, blades, and they're all, you know, he's asking, the life wasted all her pips? Yeah, she did. Well, I wouldn't say wasted. Again, there's that surprise factor that, hey, they don't know that I'm a part healer. Well, at least I wonder if they remember that at all, that I am a healer. So I'm going to go ahead and protect myself from any potential stun. We were, let's see, we did get our stun shields removed at that point. And you know what? Smoke Screen going to make sure they cannot combo. He's going to go ahead and play the highest damage card, which is his Snow Angels. So once again, the Earthquakes doing us a good of countering blade stackers, making sure, hey, they cannot kill our team with 2,000 to 3,000 per tick Snow Angels of some sort. So even though we're throwing out even though life player is throwing out all her pips, she does not need to rebirth twice and then lose a player to, again, one of those 1,000 damage Snow Angels. So it's better if she uses her pips for heals, true, but if players are allowed to keep all those blades on top, then you're basically allowing them the major advantage. You're allowing them to undo the heals. So she's going to go ahead and make sure she doesn't need to heal that fast. And that's the reason why we do play these Earthquakes. Meanwhile, because there is a chance, we don't want Cass going down just yet. We need to protect her from stuns, and anyways, the stun does come out, so they're gonna try to hammer it into us as much as possible. I'm gonna build up my pips. I do have conviction up though, so I won't be surprised all that much. don't know why I did, played a stun shield, but I guess I wasn't expecting the ice player to hit just yet, assuming the myth player after him would earthquake before he does some kind of stun. But he's going to go ahead and try to stop the two ladies there, and they're expecting, hey, we're safe now. She can't heal, and we can dispel her if needed. Michelle can place a dispel on top of Cass. Hey, I found a new rhyme. So if you're looking for a rap and you have Michelle in there somewhere, you can use dispel as one of the words. Yeah. Anyways, so I will have enough pips, and I wonder if they remember that I can heal too. So, two rebirths in hand, I'm ready to heal. I assume they will entangle me, maybe, if they remember. So, let's see. None of them can hit hard except Tyler. He can throw a frog out or another earthquake. So, but Cass should be able to live. Fallon's gonna go ahead and blade up. She has enough. She has a lot of pips actually. She is gonna be an aggressor. And here we go. The infection on top of me. Tyler's gonna do absolutely nothing. I'm not sure why. And Tyler's trying to analyze my moves and whatnot, but you know what? Here we go. The cleanse from Cassandra, not having enough pips to rebirth herself just yet. But they were trying to stop my heals. Nope. Gotta go ahead and rebirth after that cleanse to remove the infection. So now Cass has pips ready enough to hit, enough to heal. Fallon's got a blade up. At this point, I think Tyler may want to play an earthquake to save his teammates, assuming Fallon may hit. I mean, they all have shields at this point, but you never want to take any extra damage, especially when this is post Celestia. There's a chance of a critical hit. So, anyways, he's gonna take out her stun shield here, take out her blade. Fallon is out of cards, so she built up her pips pretty hard, but not to hit. Gonna go ahead and reshuffle, make sure we get, it's a little bit early at this point, but we needed the shuffles to pop out. I think, yeah, I remember this game now. Cass and I were just panicking a little bit because I'm running out of cards and we need a reshuffle for me soon. So Cass is trying to dig for her own. For a reshuffle, try to keep her pips up and try to keep herself alive. Fallon is going to reshuffle so she can bring back the shield. So, anyways, there was they were kind of. I think the other players were pretty astonished at at the rebirth play that Cass and I did, and they were saying something, and remember, I have this policy of not talking until the game is actually over, unless, there's some altercation that needs to be dealt with or whatever. And they were speaking amongst themselves, and if you missed it, Michelle, Spritecaller, basically said, well, I think they were talking with the crowd, and the crowd was saying, oh, Kevin can do, pretty much a lot of things. And she asked, can he make me a sandwich or a sandwich? And I was getting a little little flirty, I guess, and it was basically, yeah, with you. And then anyways, moving on, because this is a family-friendly channel in most cases, but you get the picture. So anyways, back to PvP. So Michelle is going or Fallon, one of our players is I was going to try to steal a blade at some point, a steel charm from somewhere, just using whatever cards I can. I don't want to put I'm not sure why I kept on to that ice bubble, but I think from a previous match, because we were getting hit hard by a myth player with a myth bubble up, I had to keep my ice bubble and make sure we can take that down. But you know what, they have a nice player on the other side. So anyways, as you can see, some reshuffle being played as well. They want to make sure their shield are back. and whatnot. So here we go. Look at this nice play by Fallon, throwing out the Kraken right there, getting rid of um, four cards at a time, knowing those weaknesses were stacked on top of her, getting rid of shield as well. So four cards, two weaknesses and two shields being taken out. The Absorb's gonna stand, but yeah, it is a long game. We're pretty notorious for that, especially if when going second. We do have a lot of long matches. Actually, over this weekend, we did have a 4.5 hour match, and it was a 4v4 that turned into a 3 versus 4. And get this, the person we lost was our life player, Cass. She had a tornado warning nearby, and so her power went out, and so we were actually going second, and we weren't even on these characters. We had a balance, death, and fire, so no life player versus a double life, death, balance player. So I don't think I have that. I don't have that recorded, unfortunately. It would be too long of a match to commentate about, and at the same time, um, because of the disconnect, I had to sign on to another client of Wizard to try to keep Cass in the game when she got disconnected. Try to maybe dual box, and that cut out the X-Fire. And it was just at a point we figured, you know what, this is just not a game that not too many people could learn from, because well, we're not even on our main characters, and we're just playing for fun basically on on alternates. You know, I was on my death, Fallon was on her fire, so no team experience there, but we wanted to try something different. Somehow it worked out in our favor in the end. Um, but anyways, that's another talk for another time. It's one of those battle stories that Grandpa tells you all about. Anyways, he does have blades. He's heavily bladed for that myth player. Oh, and a stun coming out right here. And let's see what goes on. So I'm stopped for this turn, and so there's a little friendship developing between me and Michelle Spritecaller here, especially after my little flirty comment, I guess. And I said, okay, well, I just got stunned here, and that myth player is using an earthquake. So if your team does throw out another stun again, that is a chain stun. So I'm hoping that I respect you enough as a friend or a player. Hopefully you guys aren't going to do that. Meanwhile, Tyler does have another power pip, and Michelle is reassuring me that Chase will not play pardon me, a stun. And I guess he was going to play a Snow Angel at this point. She is going to go ahead and hit Fallon, get rid of the life shield. Pardon me, get rid of the life shield. And here we go, the stun from Tyler. So she said, Michelle, if you didn't follow the chat, Michelle did say, if Tyler's chain stuns, then I'm not going to heal him. I'm going to let him die. So I'm just reconfirming with her. So he's not gonna get healed, right? He's gonna die, right? So anyways, so I am stunned for 2 turns, unfortunately, and I guess this is the interesting part that I was referring to at the very beginning, and why this was an interesting match with the interesting ending, and it's because Michelle. I'm telling her, well, you know what? It's only minor. You didn't stun all 3 of us at the same time, but let's just play it out from this point on. And Michelle is just being a really honorable player and saying, you know what? No, because the chain stun did happen. She's gonna go ahead and forfeit through that, and gonna go ahead and leave. So they're without a life player, and so basically just handing the game to us. Didn't want a chance to win after that, even if it was a minor chain stun, but it was a chain stun, and she did not want a part of that, didn't want to associate herself as a chain stunner. But this is what I mean by how I've advocated that the arena is not always a nasty place. I mean, it is a cliche, and it's kind of a true cliche that there are a lot of bad sports out there, a lot of mean players, but you have players like these that aren't talked about that much, that aren't recognized, for being good sports. And here we go. Here's proof of it. I mean, she was warlord, as you saw. She had some rank to. I mean, Fallon's commander here. They're using I think they had Tyler make the game. I'm not too entirely sure. I'm not sure if that's really true or not. But if there was some rank to be gained or lost, I'm sure as a warlord, uh, especially for Michelle, Spritecaller, that she would lose a lot of rank, especially for fleeing. I think around maybe 26 if you get disconnected from a match or you just flee. She probably lost a big chunk of rank out of that one. You know, even going first with a ice and myth player, but once again, uh, just trying to basically I'm explaining the respectability that she has here. And so yeah, not too much to talk about at this point. So I'll talk a little bit more about that 4.5 hour match that went on I think Saturday, if not Friday. I think Friday. But yeah, so we were going second. Cass got disconnected from a tornado warning, and basically they had a death player, so they were using Beguile like pretty frequently. But I'm pretty sure they have no idea whatsoever of how it entirely works. I know the death player was trying to convince us that she did know her own magic, but really, I don't think her team did, and she didn't really take the time to explain it to her teammates. So I'll kind of explain it here, just as a bonus for staying this long and checking out the rest of this match and what went on. And you can basically see, this is how you would want to play when you need to ensure some kind of victory. I mean, we didn't want to just play sloppily, just because we know that the match is in our favor now, and that that they're at a disadvantage. You never want to slip up. You want to play honorably and basically give Chase Iceblade, what he would have seen if this match did carry on. So, anyways, back to the match over the weekend. Actually, back to Beguile itself. When the arrow points at you at a second time after a Beguile is played, then your area cards are safe. By that I mean, if someone beguiles you and the arrow then points to you and you played an area card, that's going to hurt your allies. It's going to hit your allies if it's a damage card, or it's going to heal your enemies, which is the other team. But when you wait for the arrow to hit you a second time, see this arrow that's pointing to Fallon right now, and then cast to indicate whose turn it is. When that arrow is pointing to you a second time after you get beguiled, then your area card actually works normally. You can heal your allies and you can attack enemies. So if someone uses a regular beguile on you from the death school itself, and not like some kind of treasure, the arrow will actually kind of turn towards the person that's beguiled and give them first turn, especially if that person's second. So if you think about it, after one beguile, the arrow is already pointing to that player, right? And if they play an area, that's going to hurt their allies. That's why you sometimes see people hurting their teammates. But once the arrow turns back towards them again to say, hey, it's your turn now, you can play whatever card normally for an area, and it would be alright. But we'll try to explain this a little more. I think we have some Beguile gameplays in the future for you. So, anyways, thanks for checking out another commentary. Please subscribe, comment, like the video if you want to see even more. I mean, that does help encourage me and basically if I hear from my audience about what they want to see and that they're, what interests them the most, then that helps me develop these videos a lot more. So then it's more geared towards you guys. So, anyways, enough blabber. I will see you guys in the spiral, and thanks again. GG.